It was the 12th of September 2003 when something quietly emerged from the shadows of the gaming world. A platform called Steam. At first glance, it was just a tool to update Valve's Counter-Strike, but beneath its surface, it was the beginning of a revolution. Over the years, it grew into one of the biggest digital gaming libraries out there, not through flashy marketing or shady tactics, but through something rare in the industry called trust. Fair policies and powerful customer support is what defines Steam at its core. If you've been on the internet enough, you've already probably seen the memes about the Steam customer support going after hackers like they're some sort of a SWAT team, like they're the Winter Soldier, and they'll be sending you these dramatic emails like, the target has been neutralized about hackers. The Steam is preparing for its boldest move yet, in my opinion. Something that could actually disrupt the entire PC landscape, and it's called SteamOS. It's one of the most anticipated things in the industry right now if you've been on the internet. So today I want to talk about it. Hi guys, my name is Reynald, welcome to the channel. I'm on my way to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please hit that subscribe button. Also, let's get this video to 100 likes, it would mean so much to me. Leave your comments down below, I'll read them all. Thank you. If you're watching this video, it means that you are already in a well-established ecosystem, either Android, Windows, Apple, or even 3% of you Linux. And so I already assume that some of you already have frustrations with your own operating system, either with the scummy practices of Microsoft or the closed garden of Apple's ecosystem, or maybe if you're on Linux, that you lack a lot of driver support or application support on Linux. So here comes SteamOS. I know that in the beginning, for a fact, it's going to be a quite bad OS operating system. It's going to be at the very beginning, it's not going to have a lot of things. But I believe if Steam will play their cards right, SteamOS might become one of the biggest alternatives to PC in general. But I think in the long term it's going to be much more beneficial, and not only for Steam themselves, but for the gamers as well as the Linux community. You heard it right, Linux. SteamOS is built on Debian Linux, which is a distro, one of the best distros out there. So it's built on Debian. If you've been on Linux, you already know that application support is quite terrible. You're being banished from society as a whole. You lack a lot of tools. For example, I would love to fully switch on Linux, not just for programming stuff or IT related tasks. I would love to switch fully on Linux, which means content creating, like gaming, or I don't know. I want more things to be done on Linux. But at the current state of events, Linux doesn't get support from a lot of companies, Adobe included, which is one of the most reliable companies in terms of their software. After Effects, Premiere Pro, everybody knows those. They are quite good in terms of the output. Yeah, they're a bit expensive for the regular user, but they do their jobs very well. Some of you may make the argument that DaVinci works on Linux, but you're quite wrong. DaVinci doesn't have proper support on Linux. Don't listen to the IT technicians, listen to the people that actually uses software like that. As a matter of fact, if you go to DaVinci, on the rendering tab, you're gonna put your hands on your head and you'll be like, what is this? You're not gonna understand a single thing, because apparently DaVinci on Linux is supposed to be for server rendering. That means if you want to do rendering via servers, and so people that do those are probably high production companies, not people that do YouTube. Also, the fact that DaVinci doesn't support MP4 because Linux doesn't have the license to the MPEG format, because apparently you gotta have a license, and there's too many Linux distros out there. So in terms of applications, I think SteamOS may start a flame, especially in the industry, to make people actually switch. So I believe that in terms of application support, SteamOS might actually do the Linux community a lot of justice. Because think about it, if a lot of gamers will move to SteamOS, that might actually start a spark or a flame within the other industries, such as video production, or maybe Epic Games, or I don't know, you think of any other app, and we might actually get more support on Linux. And I hope that'll be the case, because I kid you not, I can't wait to finally stop using Windows for good, not having the need to dual boot, especially that Linux is one of the most lightweight. It's actually the most lightweight operating system out there. You can try out different distros. A lot of people switching from Windows to Linux were actually quite surprised at how fast it is. Problem is that it lacks a lot of application support, or my third point being driver support. If you're a Linux fanboy like me, I mean, and I know it's quite hard not to say that you're not using Linux, like this is you, Linux users. Driver support is quite terrible on Linux. I find it actually easier to get driver support for NVIDIA than for some other stuff. A lot of people within the community will be telling you that they don't have proper Linux support for their network cards, or I had people with Snapdragon laptops telling me that they don't have sound support on Linux, because apparently the drivers are so new that, you know, Linux didn't have the time to, the Linux community didn't have the time to convert them to Linux from Windows. SteamOS might actually make developers a bit more hardworking, which makes me quite excited because I can't wait to finally use my network card at the maximum settings, because on Windows I can't use my network card at the maximum settings. The driver might be a bit old, or it might be a misplaced driver. So basically I get 60 megabits of internet connection, while in reality my network usually goes to 400 megabits, which is insane. By the way, it's like a crouch. It's like it's a crouch, and people that use Linux know that it is a crouch to use Linux, and they'll do it just for the sake of, you know, sending a message. One thing that I believe that SteamOS will change will be the gaming experience as a whole. First of all, because Linux is much more lightweight, and that means that you don't have the annoying background processes from Microsoft. And actually, you can actually test this with Minecraft. If you don't touch grass in your free time, you can dual boot Windows and Linux. Try Linux Mint or Pop OS, you know, it's very reliable. Friends of mine that came to the conclusion that Minecraft had double the frames on Linux than on Windows. Well, that's because Minecraft is built on Java and it works on Linux. It works better on, you know, the non-gamer OS. And I think this applies to many games. We don't even have emulators. That's how bad it is. You know, people will be like, okay, use Wine, play on Linux, or I don't know, Lutris, but you know, they will not work properly unless you actually just you actually have proper support, right? And there's no way, even with emulators, you can't get applications such as Adobe applications to work on Linux. Don't fall for the clickbaity YouTube videos. You can't get that running properly on Linux. Probably an older version of those apps, probably like, you know, a 2015 Adobe After Effects or Premiere Pro will probably work if you have the exe file. But in a lot of cases, the new modern Premiere Pro with all the AI features is not going to work on Linux unless Adobe gives full support on Linux. Are you excited about SteamOS? Do you think it's going to disrupt the market? Do you think, you know, people are going to give up Windows and switch up to Valve's SteamOS, or do you think it's just going to be another flop? I really hope that it's going to succeed. I hope that it's going to succeed even my expectations. I don't play games that much in terms of SteamOS, or I don't know, but I'm quite excited about what it can bring to the Linux side as well. So I believe that SteamOS really has to succeed, so that maybe other companies will offer more support for their applications. And I also believe that it's going to be a healthy competition for Microsoft, because that's literally spyware. Out of all the things you could have done, you decided to add a spying feature like right on our face, and then claiming that it's for our own use. Well, maybe you should have optimized those animations, maybe optimize the feeling of Windows, maybe remove the background scummy processes that you guys still have, and maybe, you know, people will love Windows for what it's supposed to be, not a spyware. If you liked what I said, like, share and subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for sticking to the end. Leave your comments down below, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.